They got stuff sitting down there waiting to go.
Yeah. So what's been there for?
Been there for a good while.
Since April. Okay, City Clerk, take the vote.
Councilman Topper.
Yes.
Councilwoman Tazan.
Yes.
Councilman Carpiak.
Yes.
Councilman Mtg.
Yes.
Mayor Lincoln.
Yes.
And that is all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Karpiak. Over to you, Councilwoman Tazan.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one resolution this evening. It also is concerning the new Youghiogheny Coffee Company. They have requested to have the two parking lot stalls that are directly in front of their rear entrance
What's that?
turned into not parking stalls, so we can have better entrance and they could possibly put out seating. So we do that. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Connellsville to permit Youghiogheny Coffee permission to block off 2 parking stalls for outdoor seating in the city-owned parking lot at the rear of the coffee shop, and I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
I just want to say that I'm very happy with the support that the community has given James at his new coffee shop. It's a wonderful new addition to the city. He makes great coffee, has great desserts there for you to try. Looking forward to, and we have a bakery here in the city that he'll be having those baked goods in his coffee shop. But it's definitely worth it. If you like coffee and you've never tried it, please go in and check the Yacht Coffee shop out, because he has a unique business there. It's coffee on one side and different weird antiques on the other, with strange looking clowns and stuff. I don't like the clowns, but hopefully somebody buys them and they're not in there. But it's a nice addition to the city, so I'm excited for everybody to be able to do this, to give him a little bit more space and visibility for his business. City Clerk, take the vote.
Councilman Topper.
Yes.
Councilman Mtg.
Yes.
Councilwoman Tazan.
Yes.
Councilman Carpiak.
Yes.
Mayor Lincoln.
Yes.
I just wanted to briefly talk about East Park too. Mayor Lincoln went over some of the other things that are happening in the park, but we've had a lot of work done at East Park. I probably mentioned before that we had all new roofs put on the pavilions, but the stonework has recently all been redone down there. It's Bern, correct me if I'm wrong, both of the water fountains are redone, right?
The one is done, the other one they just approved.
All the
last night
stonework
to do, all the stonework.
Okay, so all of the stonework's been done down there, and I'd like to thank the Fayette Cultural Trust for that. And
Aldwich Road.
all new cameras too. We have down at East Park, so please don't vandalize, because
Yes,
we're
which
gonna
is
catch 'em.
operational and
We're gonna catch
is
'em.
recording 24 hours a day. Our dispatchers, we actually last week had 2 big 50-inch TVs put in down at our dispatcher's room, and now the cameras of Yacht Park and East Park are up there, are being watched, and so we're using that as an advantage. If we see anything going on, we're going to immediately, before someone can call 911, we're going to be on the scene, and I'm looking forward to that. I think this addition to East Park is going to really cut down some of the vandalism that goes on down there that's unnecessary, but I look forward to seeing how good this works. We got one more thing to add to the surveillance system, which should be by next week, and then it'll be the whole park. You won't be able to enter East Park without being seen by a camera, so that's going to be great. I think it should reduce any kind of trouble down there, and people should be able to go down there with their families, have parties, not have any worries about problems being down there when they're there. So, but that's thanks to the rec board, to the redevelopment authority for the NPP grant. They are using that money for. It's unfortunate, but I'm happy we have the cameras now. We've put a lot of time, effort, money into East Park and Yacht Park, and I think now we can at least have a little bit of peace of mind that if somebody's doing the wrong thing, they're going to be on camera, and we should be able to bring that person to justice.
The other thing is that Second Ward Park should be getting their equipment here in the next few weeks, and that should be done and completed if we're still on schedule and the weather cooperates. So, other than that, that's it.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Suzanne. Over to you, Councilman Topper.
Health officers reports in the packet. New Haven Hose report 33 alarms for the month of July. A fairly busy month. Nothing really too crazy. A couple water rescues that we talked about last meeting. So the boat's getting used, and luckily they've all had positive outcomes. They average 9 firefighters per alarm and traveled 269 miles. All right, resolution is for the second reading of the Knox box ordinance. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Connellsville to adopt ordinance number 1535, bill number 3 of 2018, an ordinance to require Knox boxes at commercial buildings, whereas the City of Connellsville has determined that an ordinance is necessary to require all commercial buildings with monitored alarm systems to install Knox boxes, and whereas the benefits of installing Knox boxes, including providing immediate emergency access to firefighters, leading to increasing fire department efficiency, preventing costly forced entry damage, and allowing undamaged doors to be resecured after the emergency, and protecting property, inventory, equipment, and supplies, as well as firefighters against possible injuries, and I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Do you have any input, Chief? I know that's why you came tonight, so I just...
Yeah, well, I was prompted to come.
Well, let me just tell you, one business owner is highly concerned with having a key on his gun shop. Do you want to give your input on that?
This proposed ordinance is not to regulate some new initiative. Knox boxes have been in existence for decades. Actually, here in the city of Connellsville, to my knowledge, and maybe even sooner, but at least from the early 70s, Knox boxes have been on buildings here in town. Keys have been on fire trucks and the fire chief since that period of time. The keys that the fire chief regulates, which is the only person that has control over those keys, are unique to the city of Connellsville. So the keys that fit the Knox box in the city of Connellsville will not fit the Knox box in South Connellsville or Bullskin or Westmoreland County or anywhere else. This ordinance is in effect in thousands of communities across the country. Knox boxes are in just about every municipality probably in the country. I understand people's concerns that they don't fully understand how it works. Basically, the Knox box allows us to gain access to the building at the time of an alarm. At the time of an alarm, obviously, all 3 emergency services are responding to the call, so police are present, fire, EMS, as far as gaining entry to the building to secure the building from whatever the alarm was activated. In the event, and I understand the concern, not that it has ever occurred, but in the event that someone would take the keys, it would be no different than that person kicking the door in. If you unlock the door with the key, it's still going to activate their burglar alarm because I have no control. We have no control over codes. We can't deactivate alarm systems or any such thing. We can merely get into the building to search and investigate the reason that the alarm was initiated. Hopefully, the business owner arrives sometime shortly thereafter and can put the code into the alarm system to silence the code. We can hopefully find the reason for the alarm or the faulty detector, and it can be pointed out to the business owner, and they can rectify it at their earliest convenience. I look at this as a public safety issue, especially with the city of Connellsville, the new resurgence of business coming to town, the development of older structures being retrofitted for new businesses, especially businesses where there may be apartments or people living above these businesses. That early notification to the fire department could not only save property but save lives. And truthfully, I obviously wholeheartedly endorse this ordinance and open past it. If it's someone that has questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
You just sold it for me. I mean, you're the good fire chief, and you know this is what we need to have. I mean, because it's, we don't want you all kicking a door in and then having our volunteer fire department sued me for damages because their alarm was a false alarm.
Well, that's what, I mean, we've discussed in the past about nuisance alarms. And even the few that are kind of a pain right now, they're fortunately in buildings that are occupied 24/7. So we're usually able to handle those types of alarms. But it puts the fire department in a bad position to arrive at a building where the building owner may live out of town, or the alarm company has no notification system to get a hold of the landowner or the building owner. And so we're stuck with a decision to make of whether to leave and possibly come back later when fire's showing out the window or through the roof, or do damage to enter the structure to verify that there's no emergency. Either way, it puts the fire department in a bad position, and especially when you're talking about a building that may be in a congested area. You're talking about the potential for a large-scale fire if it's not, found at an early incipient stage. So.
And we discussed, the cost to the building owners. It's $318, I think, for the standard Knox box through the system. That's not yearly. That's one time. The rest of the life of the building, that is there, and no matter what, we have access if we need it. You don't have to buy a new one every 5 years. It is a one-time cost that could last for 60 years and give you peace of mind that the fire department can get in and investigate an emergency in a very timely fashion without having to wait.
All we ask is that the Knox box be supplied with a key that gets us into the door and to the alarm panel, so that we can see the code of where the alarm might be within the building. If there's other areas that they need to have secured, they certainly can do that. It may become a problem, but we do have at least tools available with our imaging cameras and so on. We at least have tools available that can tell us if there's a fire on the other side of the wall or something, that they have a locked room. So once we're in the building, they can still have secure areas. Obviously we would love to have access to everything, but they could still have secure areas as long as we can get into the panel and see where the alarm system is, where the alarm is, and we can check that area out to see if there is indeed an alarm or a need for the fire department or not. Certainly, the fire department will work with whatever building owner wants to do. I've never found, and since I've been chief, we've added quite a few Knox boxes to buildings here in town voluntarily. And I have found all of the property owners to be very cooperative and very understanding. And to be truthful, if you don't want the fire department to find the fire in the early stages, why are you putting a fire alarm in?
I agree.
So, we need to be able to get in the building to do that.
The other thing is, if you could address this for me, Topper, is that I get big getting is how easy those Knox boxes to break into themselves. So,
They're very.
Joe Crackhead walks by, how easy for him to get into those?
They are very, they'd probably be able to rip them off the wall easier than they would be able to get into the Knox box themselves. The Knox box ships and comes to the property owner with the door open. The bolts, or however they secure it to their building, they can determine whatever kind of lag bolts or masonry bolts or whatever they need to secure it to the building from the inside of the box. Then once we put the keys to the building inside the box, it takes the Knox box key to lock it, and it is a very heavy cast iron. The box is not much bigger than my cell phone squared, and it probably weighs 3 to 4 pounds. that heavy of construction, so they'll get it off the wall, it'll come off the wall before they get busted open.
I can see that to not want to put that on your building, I'm going to question your intelligence. But on the other hand, if you don't want to put it on the building, and you can be fined daily, you can almost end up, well, I think you can end up in jail. That's pretty stiff consequences to put into a resolution for somebody that does not want to put a lockbox on their building. And again, I refer back to, I think, I question your intelligence if you do not want to put that on your building. But on the other hand, that when we make it mandatory, that all these things go along with it. And I'm opposed to incarcerating somebody because they don't want to put a key on the outside of their building. And I believe all that about how heavy it is, how hard it is to get in. Even if they got it off the wall, they're still not going to get in a box.
Correct.
So I just would like to see something where, okay, if we do have somebody that doesn't want to put it on, I mean, some kind of paperwork that goes along with them, okay, then when we come down here on a false alarm and we bust your door down, we're not liable for it. We have nothing to do for it. I think between that and maybe possibly an insurance company could make it justifiably make sense for these people to do it also, would go a long way. So you can break $300 off your fire insurance for a year, something like that. I just wish that the fines and the penalties weren't attached to this.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Tom, I don't even know what the fines and penalties are. I wasn't part of that, and so I really didn't even know what those are. But all I can say is that if that the case of what procedurally the fire department's going to do is, if we can't get in the building, we are going to do damage to that property, I would expect the city to be in full liability support of that, because I guarantee you, when someone has to put a $1,000 door on because their alarm went off, they're gonna come back after somebody.
Okay, Tim, can they legally sign off something like that? A legal document that would be held up in court that says that they remove
Well,
any
yeah,
responsibility from our fire department for kicking their door in if
Yeah.
they don't want this Knox box?
Yeah, hypothetically, we could amend the ordinance to provide, for example, like an opt-out. But if somebody wants to opt out, they've got to sign a waiver and release for any damage that's caused due to the fire company entering the building as a result of call, and or some sort of escrow fee or something. That's, you guys can decide what you want to do with that. But that is.
But wouldn't an insurance company be coming into play with this? Because if they find out that the building owner is refusing to put on a device that would save the building from being damaged, wouldn't they be in support of them getting
that's
this
the
box?
individual. I would think insurance companies would be very supportive of it, and that's up to individual.
Not to have the alarm, turn the alarm on.
Right, well, I have the alarm if you don't want.
Yeah, well,
That's not I don't understand why I have an alarm if you do not want a first responder to respond.
They're getting the insurance break by having the alarm. Just like you do in your house. If you have a burglar alarm, fire alarm system in your house, your homeowner's policy, you get a credit for your homeowner's policy. Their business policy would be the same way because they have a fire alarm system in their building. If you don't want the fire department coming in, then don't put a fire alarm system in.
We could only be talking about one person, in all of this. Whenever we're talking about new development and things like that, which we mentioned at the last meeting, it's one more thing you got to buy on top of about 10 more things, 20 more things that you got to buy, you got to pay for to start a business in Connersville or anywhere in Fayette County, Pennsylvania. And I know that's, I would like to see this be made mandatory and maybe knock out 2 or 3 others that are kind of silly. But we're not in that business right now.
And again, going back to resecuring the building, you know, if we take the door down and key holder doesn't show up, is it fair to say, well, you got to stand there and babysit the building because the door's busted down? You know, New Haven's 2 o'clock in the morning in January. Key holder's not coming from Greensburg. Who's going to sit there and babysit the building? New Haven, the police department. You know, I mean, I think it's not fair, especially to volunteers who are coming out on a call and not getting paid to say, well, you know, sorry, it's cold. I don't feel like coming out. You know, because I decided not to have this. I think that's another issue that New Haven and the city's going to have to figure out is, what do we do once the door's been kicked in?
In regulations, going back to what Councilman Carpenter's saying, I mean, regulations vary from municipality to municipality. I'll give you a good example. I was over in it's not even in the city of Greensburg, it was just in North Huntington Township, over where the malls and everything are. And those buildings over there, even though they're under the square footage, and I can tell you the same size buildings that were built here in town that have no sprinkler system in them, over there, they're all required to have